Hey guys, it's Jade. I'm back with another video. Um, and today, Edward he had posted his response video to all the backlash he's got. Um, you know what? I'm not even gonna talk about that. I'm basically just wanting to talk about um just because of this whole situation, just how I feel like a lot of things should be discussed now because of everything that's happened. Um, I honestly feel that a lot of taboo topics in Korean culture should be talked about, like mental illness, um, homosexuality, sex, just body image, a lot, race, a lot of things need to be talked about that people don't talk about. But for starters, like I said, body image. I feel like the K-pop has changed so much since the 90s. Definitely changed. Like not just the music, but just not even, like I said, the music, the visuals, it's not just secluded to Asia and Korea. It's international now. It's at a broader scale. I mean, see now you see BTS, they're like, on the Billboard charts and stuff like that. They're making history. So, it shows you that how much K-pop has grown since the 90s, and a lot of shit has changed since then. And I feel like, that mentality of, people need to fit this certain type of image needs to kind of go away, especially now that, you see now more people are being, put in these groups that aren't Korean. You have Chinese members, you have Japanese members, you have members from Canada, from the States, from the UK. Um, like Samuel, I didn't know that he was Mexican. I did not know that. I just thought he was just some Korean kid, but no, he's Korean Mexican. I did not know that. Um, People from Thailand, people from Indonesia, people from the Philippines. There's so many people from so many different places that are now in these groups. It's a whole new ball game, and and then especially when you definitely think of like body image, that's changed too. Like look at people like Hwasa, look at people like Ailey and Huron and Hyuna and things like that, and just that's just people I'm talking about on top of my head. But you know what I'm saying? Like you see people that are stepping away from that textbook definition of what a idol should look like. You know what I'm saying? And I really feel like that mentality should change. I know people's argument is going to be like, well, you're American, you're not Korean. Granted, that's absolutely correct. I'm not Korean at all. At least I don't think I am. But to my knowledge, I'm just black or whatever. But being the fact that I've been interested and invested into Korean culture for so long, I feel like I can put my input into things like that, especially things that I see. You know what I'm saying? And just seeing that, just how people like these idols, men and women, have to go through a lot of shit. Like I said in my last video, people have, these unhealthy eating habits, terrible sleeping habits. People who now, who come out, like I said last year, people were coming out saying they, dealing with mental issues. Another thing that's, definitely taboo in Korean culture. But I really feel like, this should be talked about. And you know what I'm saying? And I know people are gonna be like, well, it's just how it is. It shouldn't be like that. It really shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like I said again, yes, I understand that's not my culture, but at the same time, it's definitely the just how K-pop has changed over it has changed, and I really feel like that should be talked about. Like I just said, mental illness. A lot of people have, there's quite a few people that have came out to say that they have mental illness. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I just saw something on Instagram. The rapper Swings, you may or may not know who he is, but back a few years ago, I think maybe 2015, he had went to do his military service, but he was only in there for a few months, and then he had to get discharged because of his mental illness, and he has a lot of mental issues. Like, I think he said he has manic depression, um, postpartum depression, and whatchamacallit, OCD. So he had to get discharged because someone with that much mental issues isn't going to be able to protect his fellow soldier, fellow man if shit goes down. So he had to get discharged. You know what I'm saying? So people like him have came out and talked about that, and it's like people just think, okay, it's just a weakness. You're going through some shit. It's whatever. It's like that in the black community. Like a lot of people in the African American community don't talk about shit like that. They just, the only thing they tell you is just, oh, relax, try not to stress out, or go to church and pray. Like, no, like, it's a problem, and it can get, if it's not handled, it can end really bad. But like I said, there's a lot of things that's just not talked about. And even now, is even as years go on, it's like, race, especially how like everything has been going on, at least over here, when it comes to race, and everything dealing with race. I really feel like that is another thing that should be talked about over there as well, because there are people, I know like, quite a few, like first generation Koreans all think black people are like ignorant, ghetto, ratchet, just a lot of negativity because of what they see on the media, when that's not all the case. Like, that's not every black person that's walking this earth. You know what I'm saying? And then another thing, like blackface, like, the only time they talk about it is when someone does it. And then the thing is, when someone does it and you have these conversations, and then it's like someone does it again, it's just like, okay. So that's another thing people should talk about, and just homosexuality. Of course, there's still people that still feel like homosexuality is just, it's a phase, or it's a mental illness, or something like, it just makes people think there's something wrong with them. You know what I'm saying? When that's not it at all. And like I said before, you can be gay in Korea, but you can't be open about it. You can't, walk around with, you can't be affectionate with your partner in public, because people are going to look at you and judge you. You know what I'm saying? It's like that over there. So like I said, there's a lot of things that need to be discussed and talked about, because it's 2017. It's a whole new century. It's a whole new time. And I'm hoping that people look at this situation with Kyla and take a deeper look. Like, you know, take a deeper look at, how these companies treat some of these idols when it comes to, body image and, things like that. I really feel like people, they should really, take this seriously, because, there's people probably going through eating disorders, but they don't tell nobody, because of course they're going to think, oh, they're weak, things like that. Well, they won't take it seriously, or like, shit like that. But I definitely feel like there's a lot of different topics that needs to be discussed that shouldn't be so taboo. It's 2017, man. It's like, I feel like these things should not just be just swept under the rug or just pushed to the back burner. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that's just my opinion on that in particular. So yeah, if you guys happen to agree or disagree, whatever the case may be, just let me know in the comments. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later.